there is one company that has seen humongous growth, not only in its market share, but also in its mind share. Can anybody take a wild guess? Yes, you're right. It's Zoom. And we have with us right here Mr. Velchamy Sankarlingam, President of Product and Engineering, Zoom Video Communications with us. In conversation with Varun Aggarwal, Senior Associate Editor, ETCIO, he will talk more about adapting to change, which is such a relevant theme in today's times. All yours, Varun.
Welcome everyone. We have with us Velchamy Sankarlingam, who is the President Engineering and Product for Zoom Video Communications. In this conversation, we'd like to talk about a different aspect of growth. Through the conversations, we are talking about how most of the companies are facing challenges and they're looking at rebooting growth. But here we are sitting with a company that's actually seeing quite the reverse. So, welcome, Velchamy.
Thank you.
So, Velchamy, we started the premise with the astronomical growth that Zoom has seen. Could you take us through what challenge does growth also bring? It's a perfect position to be in, but growth also brings challenges along with itself, be it scale, be it meeting customer expectations. So, what kind of challenges did Zoom really have to face?
So Zoom was already a fast-growing company even before COVID, but then it was more of an enterprise company. I think it was targeted towards enterprise, etc. I think because of the ease of use, I think the adoption through COVID, I think there are a lot of other areas that people started adopting. And I think, and Zoom also made it easy for people to use. I think we made it free for all education institutions. So today we provided free for about 100,000 schools worldwide in 25 countries, etc. I think the challenge with that is how do you build the capacity? I mean, normally your plan is to based on your growth. But I think fundamentally it is the architecture. Zoom's architecture is very, very scalable. We can actually expand capacity very fast. We can use our own private cloud or we can use a public cloud. So based on the demand, we have the ability and we can actually expand worldwide also very fast. And so that has been, the usability, the scale, the architecture, etc., have been, and also we have a world-class engineering team and operation team. So they have been able to anticipate problems, scale everything without much hitches. There have been some hitches, but most of them were sort of negligible hitches.
Interesting that you talked about hitches and glitches that the platform faced. And it is quite expected when you're growing at that rate. But there have been a lot of allegations against Zoom in terms of security, etc. And we've seen attacks not just on Zoom but a lot of collaboration platforms as well. So how are you dealing with security issues? Because the kind of expectations that were there from a collaboration platform has completely transformed since so many people have started working from home.
I would say, from a security standpoint, Zoom was built for an enterprise. So what we had is we had an IT team that was actually managing the security. See, it's not it's basically the knobs, like how do you tighten up security, how do you loosen security based on the needs, etc. What we realized is, I think out of goodwill, I think this is from Eric, our founder CEO. So I think he just wanted to give it free for all the education, etc. I think what we didn't realize is a lot of them don't have an IT department. So they need a little bit more hand-holding compared to the regular customers that we have. And so we took 90 days. And I think Eric was giving an update every week on what the progress is, etc. And the 90 days was to build a lot of ease of use security. It's not just security. It is basically easy for anybody to use type of security. So I think we released Client 5.0, I think about a month, a few weeks back, which basically has a very easy to control security, and there is passcode, 8 waiting rooms, options for people to filter somebody. You can actually lock the room, and then even that is in the meeting. Then if you want, we even provide geofencing for customers to say that, hey, you want the reason why a conferencing service need to have presence all over the world is your attendees are going to be all over the world. Okay, because not all the time your attendees are in the same country, etc. So the architecture is built in a way that we have 17 data centers worldwide. And then to give the best experience. So for example, in a meeting, somebody from US could be joining a US data center and somebody from India could be joining an India data center. So the performance is very good for them, but then we mix the connection, mix the meeting, etc. on our backbone. So that is the reason why you need all of this distributed. But at the same time, if somebody feels like they don't want their data to go through a country, they can actually configure. We gave them the controls to say, you can geofence your own company's data where it flows through. But also you should look at it that these are all like not persistent data. These are all like real-time data that goes through. And these are all encrypted also, all the data. I think it is the new user base. We needed to make sure that we educate the new user base, and not just educating, we also wanted to make sure that as easy is it to use the product, we wanted to make sure security is easy as well. It doesn't need an administrator. So that is some of the efforts that we have done to or find out our client.
Absolutely. In fact, we've been seeing usage of communications in extremely unimaginable ways. And, maybe you would like to talk a bit about that. What are the different kind of ways that people are using collaboration platforms for? And the important point is that, people didn't really consider collaboration platforms as something of a security threat in the past, because it was a very select group that was actually using it in the past. And now everyone, many people who were never even exposed to computers are suddenly using Zoom. So how does that really change the dynamic?
I think that is that's related to what I was saying, that consumers now, I get feedback from my friend's grandmother on features for Zoom, like from in India, one of my friends' So the thing is, it's so easy and it works all the time. So it makes people try different use cases, etc. So in our original design, it was built to say that, okay, we make it really easy to use, but there is an administrator, etc. So now I think what we have done is made sure that hey, all these different use cases. I mean, like education is a use case. I mean, people never thought they cannot be in classrooms, but the closest to a classroom is like a very immersive video conference that's actually frictionless. Okay, so that has made a lot of schools compensate for the in-class room, etc. And then I've seen like telemedicine. So people going to the doctor's office that is concerned that, hey, do I have COVID, or will I pick up COVID from the doctor's office? And if it doesn't need like a physical examination or anything, you want to have a consultation with the doctor. So there are a lot of those things that are happening. And I also see like events. So one example was there is a local stand-up comedy group that they were performing like in California, and they had concerns that they will have the audience they cannot bring because you cannot gather. I think the regulations here is that throughout the COVID, indoor gathering is being prevented, etc. But what they have been able to do is use Zoom to actually expand. So in one of the sessions, they invited me to attend one of their sessions, and then they have attendees from all over the world now. So there are businesses that have seen, in some ways, I would say, look, constraints sometimes increases our creativity. Okay, so what people have looked at it is that, hey, yes, we don't have the connection, but the new way of connecting to people, is it something that we can even do more? So that is what I see happening in the world today.
Now, the bigger question is this more of a temporary change, or you see habits really forming and people really changing the way they conduct business, the way they connect with others? Are there examples of some of the economies that have opened up and still seeing similar kind of volumes in terms of collaboration?
I would say that the new world, I think like all of us want COVID to be behind us. Okay. And the new world, I feel, would be a hybrid. Okay. A hybrid would be, there are certain things that we all realize works better remotely. I mean, sometimes I would say maybe some parts of business travel. I know people that used to like travel country to country and without stop, etc. Now they're all realizing that, hey, for a half an hour meeting, do I need to actually fly across the world to do this? And actually I can do it easier, etc. So there are certain things, the change may be permanent. Okay, we realize that there is a better way to do some of it. Certain things, I think things will come back. I would say for education, for example, I would say like you do need like face-to-face, etc. Maybe there are certain parts of it may still be virtual, etc. So I would say it's going to be a hybrid where there are going to be some, and then work from home, for example. A lot of companies have realized that working from home is not necessarily a bad thing. And think of this: I travel to Bangalore a lot. I travel to Chennai, like Mumbai, Delhi, etc. Imagine that most of the companies continue to work from home. The traffic, the pollution, the environment, etc. So sometimes people realize that these are side effects of working remotely, and some of those may continue as well. So it's going to be a balance of certain parts will go back to normal, what it was pre-COVID, and certain things will stay where it is. There could be certain there will be a hybrid of between what it was and what it will be.
Absolutely. I think the hybrid part is really important because people will want to go out, but at least they have the option of, connecting to whoever and meeting whoever through such collaboration platforms. Moving forward, Zoom has also been expanding in terms of connecting with other industry partners. So be it software partners, be it hardware partners. Can you talk about how important those collaborations are for you?
Yeah, they're very, very important, because if you look at the requirements that Zoom gets today, I would say just the requirements I get personally for enhancements to Zoom, it'll take us 3 years to complete. Okay, if we do everything by ourselves, because it went from a enterprise product to like a consumer product just within like a few months. So there is a lot of markets, a lot of verticals, there is a lot of needs, etc. But on the other, so that's on the collaboration software, etc. On the other side, now that working from home is becoming more of a normal, we need to make sure that how does your home actually works better for you. So we recently announced like a Zoom for home, like a device where basically it's like a monitor, and then it actually has it's like a Zoom room. Zoom room is something that enterprises used to have, where conference rooms are replaced with like a Zoom room where you can just go click one touch and then join the meeting, etc. So now we are making something available for home, pretty much at the same price, maybe a little bit more than like a monitor. You can use it as a second monitor, or you can have a Zoom room. You can whiteboard on it. You can touch everything. So we're also trying to see that in the new normal, what are the things that employees of a company would miss, and then what are the new markets that they can go in with the new functionality. So there is a lot of work on the device side, but there is a lot of work on the software side as well.
That'll be something that I would like to get my hands on.
Yeah, actually, I just got mine. So this weekend I'm going to set it up and work. So
excellent. So moving on, talking about Zoom's connection with India, one of the top executives being an Indian. How important is the Indian market for Zoom? And if you look at the growth, how significant has been the growth in India versus some of the more mature markets?
I think overall worldwide, the growth has been pretty good. India has been growing exceptionally well. And I think India, I mean, look, India is a very, very important market for Zoom. Personally, for me, like I was born in India. I studied until my undergrad in India. And pretty much most of the companies that I work for, I've managed like an Indian operations or built like teams in India. And I think for Zoom, there are two parts. One is as the customers, a lot of our multinational customers have a huge presence in India. And there are a lot of Indian companies, a lot of Indian educational institutions, a lot of people adopting Zoom. And in addition, as I said, one of the things with the growth, I think we've been able to scale the infrastructure. We have data centers in India to scale India needs, et cetera, as well, but also talent. As we are growing, we need to make sure that we continue the world-class talent. And that's another area that we're looking at to expanding in India to build a world-class talent as well.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that perspective, Velchamy. Thanks so much for coming on board. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen, for that lovely chat.